Begin opening the meeting and going over materials until we get a quorum. We need one more board member to come, and they will be coming shortly, but we want to get moving.
At this point, we're just going to discuss the agenda that's already been released to the public to see if there's any questions regarding any of the items, and then once we have quorum, we'll open the meeting regularly as normal. So no action will be taken at this part of the meeting. You recorded that, right, Dan?
Thank you. Keep him on. Keep on
Making
study,
sure.
Dan.
No action will be taken during this part of the meeting.
There were a couple things we did add to the agenda, and we'll go through that as we
Okay.
go along. I think a minute or two. Within the financial reports, we don't have any presentations this evening. We will be going to executive after work session before the regular meeting. Discuss a few things.
And then we will start the regular meeting no sooner than 7 o'clock, as soon as we're done.
Probably
with
no sooner than
executive
7.
In terms of my report, we've been having bi-weekly meetings with the ROD grant. Anyone involved with the ROD grant from SJTP, from Garrison Architects, as far as making sure that the timelines are set up, that all the projects will be moving over the course of the summer. Windows and door projects, those items have been ordered. However, those projects might go into the fall, and if they do, it'll be a third shift project, meaning the workers would come in after school hours. They would do one room at a time, remove the windows, put the windows in, a cleaning crew comes in and cleans up, and then the next day they would come in and do the next classroom next to it until everything's done that way. And they've done that with a number of schools, so there seems to be zero concern with that whatsoever. IDEA, which is a special education grant, federally funded, and NCLB have all been submitted to the county. Those grants run July 1st through June 30th. Our office is currently in the process, as you know, it's the end of our year, so we're trying to make sure that all of our purchase orders are closed out and signed, making sure that we're ready to roll into the new school year for the 15-16 year, which begins July 1. Auditors have actually already started doing preliminary runs, which they did not do previously, but we've been able to pull certain things for them to get them started sooner rather than later. In terms of curriculum, all things have been closed out for the end of year park assessment. We have had a couple phone calls, just so you're aware, of parents requesting when that information will become available. We were told that we can expect that information no later than November, meaning because it's the first time that they did it, so there's a lot of baseline data that they need to pull. So hopefully as time moves on, that time frame should become shorter and shorter to the point where we should have it a little bit more quickly. Mr. Energy discussed previously how when it was first presented, they stated that we would have it like within the month because it's an online-based program, we have more scores, it's more states. So since this is the first year, they're kind of making sure that all of that stuff is in order. Also, all grant funds have been reviewed. We've been working with St. Teresa's, which is a non-public school within our district zone, in terms of making sure all of those grants have been fulfilled and that we're where we need to be. And those are the major items within my report.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, at the end of the year, most of the students got back their scoring, I guess for math testing, that's what it was. How are we doing as far as increasing our?
Fall to spring, you see an increase always from, when you look at the map, it's over 85% students
Right.
show increase from their fall to their spring scores. Nationally, Runnemede, any student who takes the test, compared to students across the country who are also taking the test at that grade level at that time, Runnemede, if you look at the line, is always right above where the national average is.
So, would you say we're increasing instruction and specifically with the English and language arts
I would
portion?
say-
Because we were a little low there
We are,
previously.
and that's, it was addressing grade level meetings all throughout the year, and they were using more of the data in those meetings on a
Okay.
weekly basis to drive their instruction, and that's the whole purpose of having those assessments. Along with all the other assessments that they do, that's what we talked about, moving that piece next year. We have so many different types of benchmarks that,
Also,
benchmarking throughout the year for those kids to So I would say yes, it's improving, because they're using the data more than they ever have in guiding their instruction. So if students are struggling in certain concepts in language arts or in math, number sense or whatever it is, they can focus on that. Or just with specific children.
So I think what we're trying to find here is, do we have more children that are proficient in both of those areas?
Here's what I want you to remember though, Tim.
Go ahead.
The New Jersey Ask has changed the format of their task previously, year after year. So remember how we said, like, one year it might have been the core curriculum content standards, the next year it went to Common Core. And I want to remind you that when I showcased the scores last year, while we saw decreases in certain grade levels, the largest increase was in the grade level where we focused that attention, that we've now expanded across the grade level. So I would say that students are having certain standards addressed more within their instructional classes. And I think that that data alone, because of the how large that increase was, showed us that we were going in the correct direction.
Okay.
The same thing is true for math. And remember how we pointed out that while our previous instructional program we used was working well for our students. However, when they moved the New Jersey Ask from the core curriculum content standards to Common Core, which was the very last year we gave New Jersey Ask, that's where we made that decision that we had to look at a program that addressed all students' needs more so, and that we needed a program that was also more focused on the Common Core standards, which is why we then did the pilot and why we're now doing the full rollout this year.
Right.
Okay.
So I would absolutely 100%, but with any assessment, you need to take those assessments at face value.
Right.
In the fact that there's many factors that come into that, and that's how we're basing our decisions that we're making regularly.
Right.
So I feel very confident in saying that our program addresses students' needs.
I mean, but I think from our perspective, of course, perfection does not happen immediately. So I think most of us are looking for just progression. So if everything is improving, we're good. But I just wanted to make sure there's definitely some improvement with language arts specifically, because I know they were definitely a little on the
We
lower
have seen
side.
that over the progression years, when we were testing 9-year-old students in third grade, we see the progression by the time they get 6 and 8 grade years, and then they're extreme.
Right. Well, what was it, if I remember correctly, I thought it was 4th and 5th grade, right, that was having, struggling a little bit with language arts, which again could be the transition from elementary school into middle school atmosphere.
But then as we brought in the consultant, literacy consultant, that focus was moved last year and part of the prior year into the middle school more than it was the elementary. And when the elementary was able to implement the practices on their own, that's where we saw all those increases. And now that we're now focusing that attention at the middle school, and a large part of that is also nonfiction literacy. So when you look at science and social studies, and the fact that many students through assessments, it's a nonfiction focus, and looking at those periods, not just as a social studies solely or science solely, but to look at it as an additional literacy period and implementing those best practices. So the consultant who we bring in, just because she's a literacy consultant, don't think she's only working with language arts teachers. She's working with all of our content area teachers for math, working on open-ended problems, open-ended responses, how students should be drafting their answers, science, social studies, how to read textbooks, how to access that nonfiction information. So without question, I would say that we're progressing in the correct direction.
That's all we want to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go over my report more in depth in the actual meeting, summer projects and summer program. We are going to have those summer projects begin next week when we start delivering the materials for the roofing project, as well as on Monday, they are going to start to do some major work over at Bingham. It's going to tweak our summer program a little bit as far as shifting some classrooms around. Mr. Pillay and I created, I think, a schedule today. It'll alleviate some stress and, congestion in some of those areas, so we'll keep you posted on that. Summer cleaning is on pace with most of the crews over at Downing right now. Because
Okay.
Downing is basically empty. We're trying to get that done as quickly as possible. And then as the program starts over here for summer projects, as the projects start over here, the cleaning crew will go behind the roofers. So when they're done with the A-wing, and the roofers move on, that crew will, our crews will get in there, and they'll start prepping those classrooms for next year.
Did they give you any kind of indication as to when they felt into the school year they might finish installing the windows? And I know it's hard to predict because of weather conditions and so forth, but any idea,
Right
like
now, it looks
by
like.
the October?
I would think the month of September would be right.
September.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so the way they work, they could do probably, again, don't hold me to these numbers,
No.
but 2 classrooms per night, or per day,
Okay,
as far as, at Bingham and Downing, as far as getting those windows in there.
okay.
And, like, they might start at, when the kids leave at 3, they might come in at 3:30, work 3:30 to 11:30,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids and the teachers won't even notice that they were there. The only thing they'll notice is there's new windows in the room. Everything will be ready to go.
Great.
Also, we have some personnel, we added some hires, and we also added some transfers to the agenda. You will get the complete roster of where everyone is at the August meeting. We were just showing you tonight the transfers from buildings. We have some movement there, and we also still have some additional personnel that we'll have to add in the summer, so that will be at the August meeting.
Okay.
I want to thank those board members that attended the graduation the other night. That worked
Went
very
very
well.
nice.
I want to thank Mr. Peely and his staff, Mrs. Marker behind the scenes for organizing all the people to get them on stage properly. That's a big to-do, and it's not an easy thing. It sounds easy, but it's not, so I thank them for that. And the last thing I want to talk about is we are moving the pre-K 4 over to Volt School starting in September. So we talked about